Hey everybody, this is Luke. This is Uncivil Liberty. We are joined yet again with Halston. Say hi, Halston.
Hello, everyone.
And Horace.
Hi.
Say hi, Horace.
Hello.
Say hi. And Horace's name is actually coming up properly on the screen. It's a bug we were able to finally work out after a while. But
Well, it
looks
was
like
exactly what I said it is. Somewhere in the thing, it said like a cookie or something, and I just cannot figure out where it was. So I created a new profile on the computer.
and is that the only reason why you use that profile?
Yeah.
Yeah, figures. Well, thanks for helping clear up the confusion. That was super sweet of you. But yeah, check out our Facebook Uncivil Liberty Show. Check out our website uncivilliberty.com. We're on the Twitters as well. Um,
I was tweeting the shit out of stuff today. Like fucking
yeah,
non-stop tweeting.
slow day in the old factory for Halston.
Yeah, I was multitasking.
Multitasking. That works. We'll go with that. So tonight, we're we talking primarily about the Chelsea Manning um, run for Senate. And then
Yeah.
we're also going to talk about professional licenses. So it should be a very interesting way to tie those two together. Not sure how we're going to do it, but I'm really curious to see how it actually pans out. So we'll start out. Horace, you want to go first? Talk about Chelsea Manning and what all is going on with that.
Well, from what I've seen, for those who aren't familiar, Chelsea, formerly Bradley Manning, um, was the Army officer or
Enlisted
She's
enlisted?
a
Enlisted.
enlisted
Okay.
kid.
Uh,
PFC, I think.
PFC. I couldn't remember. Um, it's been too long ago and not that critical. Um, that was arrested for basically letting us know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Much like what was the other guy? The one that
Snowden.
said Snowden. Yes.
Yep.
Um, and but she is now running for Senate. Um, I forget where.
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay. I haven't paid that much attention to it. Honestly, the main reason I even know about it is it seems like certain members of the, and I use the term loosely in this case, the libertarian movement, are rather supportive of her run because she's very libertarian.
Mm.
And well, on some things, yes. The
So is Booker. I mean, Booker's libertarian
yeah,
on like three things. Are we gonna call him a libertarian too?
Yeah,
no,
why not? Sure.
I mean, shit. I mean,
you
it's
know,
it's politically relative. It's like, hey, I think we should legalize marijuana. So you're a libertarian.
yeah. No, to a large degree, obviously to a large degree, to a fair degree, the stuff she has put out so far, a lot of it does align with libertarian philosophy. There is one area though where she diverges wildly,
Hmm.
um, and that is a statement that I think we will all go, oh, that's fucking bullshit too. Taxes are the price we pay to live in a civil society.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that come through.
That's fucking bullshit. You. How did you know I was gonna say that? How did you know? Magic.
Okay. I think we all agree on that one. That's just
Yeah,
that
it's
is the
silly.
natural, So to me, I don't care one way or the other. I don't think it's really going to matter whether she wins or loses. I think it's going to be a big kerfuffle over nothing.
Kerfuffle. That's a good word. Kerfuffle.
So
Yeah, that is a good word.
you know,
I don't-
because I don't think she'll make a difference. I don't think anybody's going to make a difference at this point.
Hmm.
So you know,
Yeah. Mm.
What do you think, Austin?
Well, I think that there are quite a few women that are vying for political seats this go around in 2018, and they're capitalizing on the fact that it's kind of a lackluster midterm. Which I know you and I agree that midterms are pretty shitty turnouts for the most part. So that's what they're kind of banking on. I mean, I think so anyway. But there are a lot of women running, and unfortunately, I think that most of them have absolutely no idea what they're getting themselves into. Not running a campaign. Anybody can do that. Anybody can run for office. If you put forth the effort, you can put your name on the ballot. But as far as what they're getting into, jumping from absolutely zero political experience other than arguing on Facebook and jumping into the fucking belly of the beast.
Right.
I think
this isn't Pinterest. All right.
Right.
Come on now.
It's not like you can do that and win the presidency.
Right, exactly.
Right.
You absolutely can. Like Al Franken, Ronald Reagan. Well, Ronald Reagan was a governor, right?
Yeah.
So he did have some experience. Barack Obama, a lot of people think that he was like this wizard politician, but he wasn't. He was a fucking senator for 9 months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you certainly don't have to have experience to win these positions, but Jesus Christ, man, there's a lot of people that are vying for seats that have no fucking clue how to run anything, much less a country. That's not true. They probably know how to manage their households and manage bills and work and all that stuff, but I don't know. I'm just not so sure they know how to write laws. I think they might end up fucking up a whole bunch of stuff because they don't understand how shit works.
Well, that's the thing about this whole Trump candidacy turned into presidency, is that because Trump won, it showed America that the bar is so extremely low for political office that anybody can get it. Anybody. Yep. Even The Rock is looking at a presidential run. All right. So
right.
The barrier's gone. It's open territory. There's no prestige. There's no training or knowledge needed. Just all you gotta do is have a good marketing campaign.
That's really it.
That's it.
And grab them by the pussy and you win.
That's right. And you can grab Chelsea Manning. Wait, has she fully converted yet?
I have no clue.
I don't know.
Does anybody have any naked pics of either Jeff Sessions or Chelsea Manning? Because we will take either or both.
Yes.
Let's be clear here. They will take either or both.
Extra points if they're together. Extra points if it's one of those candid shots
God,
of them together. I would make that into a T-shirt. I would sell the piss out of that.
I'll show you my innards if you give me that.
There you go.
So, but back to what I was saying. Yeah, I think that there are a lot of people that always run for office that have no idea what they're doing. But I think that this group of people, regardless of their gender, this group of people have the best chance of like en masse winning seats with no fucking clue what's happening. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, but it's no scarier than anything else, I guess. I mean, who gives a fuck?
Given some of the videos I've been seeing lately, have y'all seen the one video? And I don't know the exact basis behind it, but teenager, maybe early 20s.
We're not talking about Tide Pods, are we?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right, just checking.
I think I would rather have somebody who's eating Tide Pods over this.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah.
That's a pretty harsh statement. I mean, you need to be sure you're ready to back that shit up.
They have a old-fashioned mechanical can opener. Crank style.
Oh, yes.
Are you talking about the Facebook videos that floating around for like 2 years?
I don't know, but they're after they get the can open, everybody starts clapping like it's the greatest thing in the world that they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, these are the people that will be, voting soon, if not
That's
already.
Our future.
Yes.
It is. That does.
Now that's fucking scary.
Now I better understand why when I told my parents I had interest in politics, they said if you run for public office, we're moving to Canada. I now fully understand why they say that as I'm getting older, and as I am a parent. I'm like, holy hell, I don't want to see any of my kids sitting in I don't want to see any of their shitty friends sitting in a political office.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I mean, I I don't know. Like Chelsea Manning is a celebrity in the transgender community, but and also in the espionage community.
Well,
yeah, the niches are kind of big on where she's a celebrity.
I wonder if she was
pretty much on the entire left.
Yeah. Was she convicted of espionage?
Treason.
Is that what she was? Oh, treason. I wonder
know it
if
was
she would be
treason.
the first
No, it
person
wasn't
to be
treason.
Wasn't I thought they pulled her up on pulled at the time him up on treason charges.
No, I forget what all the charges were, but I don't think it was treason.
unauthorized disclosure or something, maybe. If it was treason, that would be interesting to have a treason.
Yeah, right.
senator.
Right.
That's another thing. Like, what the fuck makes these motherfuckers think they're gonna jump right into the Senate? Like, for real? Like, you trying to jump right into retirement, motherfucker? Like,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, just give me one term in the Senate. That's all I'm asking for. I mean, I don't care what you do afterwards. Just give me one term in the Senate so I can make that $174,000 for the rest of my life on your tax dollars. I'm set. I'm good to go.
That's so fucking stupid.
Criminal charge of violating the Espionage Act, stealing government property, violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Acts, and multiple counts of disobeying orders. So I guess no treason charges. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the Espionage Act, that's pretty fucking big deal.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'd be the first spy to be a senator. Well, maybe
Don't
not.
know.
First convicted.
Yeah, there you go.
Person.
Hey, there it is. There it is.
Here's the thing. Those convictions do not create a bar to entry.
Yeah.
Right.
And they shouldn't. I don't think. I don't think your conviction should create you as a bar to entry into that, other than maybe the fact that you've shared shit that you shouldn't have shared. So
Might not be able to sit on the Intelligence Committee. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. Be like, all right, we're gonna put you on the Department of Interior.
And let's garbage collection.
Yes, the National Park Sanitation Committee. That's all you. That's all you. There's nothing.
Jim, who takes care of the swamp rats? Yeah, that's where Chelsea's going.
There's no way that information. Nobody would buy that secret intel. I mean, it's like, why do we care when the trash gets picked up at Yellowstone? We don't care. Exactly.
That's right.
But I mean, that brings up a good point though with this whole Manning thing. Is, being ex-military, there's a lot of other ex-military that despise Bradley Manning / Chelsea Manning, the actions. Since you're ex-military, what's your opinion on it from the military perspective?
Well, I looked at this probably about a year ago and got a little bit in depth, and I had some notes from the last time I looked into this, and of course my wonderful desktop decided that it was going to start updating, so I'm on my iPad, so I'm not going to be able to look that up. But I do remember agreeing with most of the things that she did. Well, he did bring forward.
Any pronoun will work at this point. Any pronoun.
Yeah.
Just pick a pronoun.
What the accepted vernacular is for referring back to when she was a he. I just want to know that. So any of our listeners, go ahead and send us a
back Jen.
Yeah, Jen. Back Jen when she was a joy. Anyways, I think I want to say that I agreed with what he brought forward then. But I think that some of that information ended up getting someone killed, maybe, or I think I remember something about that. But I can't remember exactly, so I'm not going to comment on that. But I'm pretty sure I agreed with most of the stuff that he brought forward. And I think that they tried to quell his pipeline. Like, he tried to go up the chain of command, and they kept on and on and on about pushing him down. And he was like, "Well, fuck it then. If nobody's going to listen to me, I'm gonna spill the beans." And
there's nothing left to lose. Right.
Yep.
It's the same thing with Snowden. He tried to go through channels. Channels blocked him. He's like, "Fuck this then."
Yeah. And that's one thing that, I see, especially being in Alabama, you've got people who had never even put on a uniform who have probably more loyalty to it than people who have wore it. But you get a lot of people who are just like, oh, treason, traitor, this, that, and the other. But if you sit down and you actually see what was released, you're not really dealing with anything that's truly overly national security related. It's considered classified because they don't want people to know about it. And a lot of the stuff that was exposed was illegal activities. It was murder. You
Yeah.
know, the footage of the Apache helicopter pilots gunning down innocent people and a journalist. They were going to
Yeah.
keep that under wraps forever if Manning didn't come forward and put it out there.
Yep.
That's a crime. That's
And
not that's not national security.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's illegal. And I talk to people on a daily basis that we talked about this a couple of days ago, and they were the far, I don't want to call them right, but the hardcore Republicans. They were like, well, no, that's treason. Like, just because you release secrets and you're telling on your brothers in arms for doing dumb shit, that's not treason. That's actually just releasing information. But you can't tell those people anything about that because it has something to do with the military, and you're telling secrets.
And the military can do no wrong.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good stuff that inside the military, but there's also a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
There's from stories I've got from when I was in, medics who were coming back from downrange. Some of the shit that I was hearing was kind of like, I'm not really sure that this is even legal or ethical or anything close to it. Of course, it's war, but
Yeah.
the idea of just being able just to openly shoot whoever you want to at a checkpoint, and you're having your first sergeant covered down on the ammo that was spent. That's a problem, at least in my mind. But
Yeah,
there are people, especially the hardcore right wingers, who don't see it as a problem. They're like, hey, it's fine. It's the military. They can do what they want to do, and that in and of itself isn't right.
Oh yeah. And as far as treason, I find it amazing how many people do not realize that treason is not defined in U.S. code. It is the only crime defined in the Constitution itself.
Did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
So,
it looks like
it's
no.
moving along.
I just pulled up the list of charges, and it's just pretty much a lot of like cyber crimes, and
Yeah.
of course the Espionage Act. And I had a lot of respect for Manning when he was in and he was being held because of everything that was going on. I was pretty vocal about being in support of what he did because this is what the people need to see.
Yeah.
And you can't rely on your government to tell you the truth. There's people like this who put their life at risk to provide this information and publish it externally. These are people that you need to have. And but then somewhere once Obama issued the pardon, Chelsea Manning walked into the back into the free world, and it kind of all just started to spiral at that point.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He did not pardon her. He commuted the sentence.
Okay, great. Maybe I thought it was a pardon.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he merely commuted the sentence.
I don't remember. I have no clue. But I do know that I do know that I was probably aloof in my mind when this was happening in real time. So I don't remember having an opinion on it either way. Like when this first came up, I didn't really start having a problem with it until I heard someone have a problem with Bradley Manning because he was a he/she, and that's disgusting. So that's when I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Disgusting? Like, how do you know what this motherfucker did?
Okay.
You just hate him because he his fell off or whatever."
I don't hate him because he's transitioning or whatever. I don't dislike him because honestly, he made a better looking man than he did a woman. Or whatever. That's a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't have any. I just have a problem with. I think the best way to put this. The amount of attention, the amount of media he got, she got, went to his head real quick. And coming out, just pretty much walking out saying, "Look, bitches, taxation is taxes are what you pay to live in a civilized society," which is stupid in and of itself. Just coming out and making all these like very grandiose and logically false statements, where I'm just kind of like, all right, it's done. Take a step back. You've had your 15 minutes. Let's just fade away. Take care of it. And yes, you're right, Horace. It was commuted.
There's no reason why he should be why she should be famous at this point. I mean, how many other people got pardoned by Barack Obama or had their sentences commuted?
Mhm.
Right? I mean, that should just fall into that. I mean, I know it was national news and shit, but come on. And if this is the type of fame that gets you a Senate seat, Jesus Christ, the floodgates are about to open. You know,
Yeah.
free
Yes.
retirement for everybody.
That's what I'm saying. I think a spot in the Senate should be something that is just kind of like a lottery.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I won $174,000 the rest of my life. I didn't
Yeah.
even do shit for it because our Senate has not done fucking shit. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This go round. So they're pretty much just there just to collect that paycheck, complain about when when the government shuts down, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
funny to hear them talk when the government shut down and stuff. It's like it just blows my mind how they pander to the right people to make it
Of course.
make it seem like they actually give a fuck. They don't care.
Yeah.
The longer the government shut down, the less they have
Let's
to
go.
work.
Let's go talk to those military people and the contractors that work in the military bases. We're gonna start pandering to them and say how horrible the Republicans are for shutting down the government.
Yeah, it's fucking silly, man. It's silly. Well, this is fuck. God damn it. This is the information, and I forgot. I retweeted it, but I forgot to save it. Anyways, can't find it. Anyways, there's a list. I'm gonna try to write I'm in the middle of an article on something else, but I'm gonna try to write an article on this too. So keep your eyes open and your ears peeled.
Okay.
But it was a chart showing the report-ins from the essential versus non-essential layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, essential versus non-essential employees for each department.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it was fucking ridiculous. There were some that were like between 96 and like 80% were non-essential employees.
Yeah.
Because essential employees still checked in, no matter whether they were commerce or whatever. But holy fucking shit!
Here's a question. As somebody who's been in business for as long as I have, in various other aspects, what exactly is a non-essential employee, and why the fuck are they even on the books?
Right.
Period. Bottom line, it's like, whether you have a small business staffing 5 people or 5 million people, if you have a non-essential employee, that's a liability that you need to get the fuck out, be gone.
Right. Or you're participating in some sort of charity program where you're paying, it's the 33 cents an hour for the handicapped kids or whatever, that really has low functioning people that just stand around.
I'm all
So,
for
like,
moving that program into the federal government, because not only will we save money, but we'll be doing a good thing and probably get more work done than less.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty interesting that one of the bigger ones was like 88,000 people, and like 84,000 people were non-essential. I think it was Department of Commerce.
Probably that's one of the biggest non-essential. Oh God, I can't even think. Spots, departments. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, me, for thinking of that. Oh, my mind is not here today. My
Anyways,
God.
that's completely off base. I can't remember what we were talking about.
We're talking about Manning. We kind of shifted over, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Manning going in there, maybe trying to pull that pension for the rest of her life. Maybe to get if she hasn't fully transitioned, maybe to get the federal government to pay for the transition, because that would be covered under the I believe the Anthem Blue Cross is what they have. They're the federal, Anthem Federal. So yeah. So that's Manning. Seems to be a very mediocre response overall to this announcement.
Yeah.
It depends on.
Too bad she doesn't have to have a license.
Oh shit! There it is. There is the segue.
I cut
But that brings up a good question. That brings up a good point, though. It's like, why don't we have professional licenses for politicians?
Well, we used to. It used to be you were some sort of productive member of society at a bare minimum. The second one was like usually law school or a member of a prominent business person. There used to be these certain standards, not necessarily licensed, but yeah, why not? Are they fucking? I guess because they're so busy creating new licenses for other people to get into the workforce that they're like,
they just haven't gotten around to their own.
Yeah, that's it. They're just worried about retirement and fucking pay raises.
Right.
Well, even if there was a license, all it would do would be to serve to protect the people who are currently there
Yeah.
and block new entry.
Yeah, it was
'Cause that's
in order to
largely
get a license to be a senator, you must have already been a senator.
Yes, there you go.
That'll-
It's that situation where in order to get this job, you need to have 2 years of job experience, but no one's hiring anybody who doesn't have experience. So
Yep.
you're
Yeah.
pretty much going in that scenario. Yeah.
yeah. Because the vast majority of licensing, that's what it is. It's the industries protecting themselves from new entry.
Yep.
Right.
Because they don't want competition.
That's exactly right.
You know.
I think there are probably some licenses that I don't think maybe came up for protection of the consumer wholeheartedly, but definitely not protection of the current industry so much. Like there are certain you know what? Probably not, because I wasn't around when these licenses came up. But I was going to say that there's certain industries are completely flooded, and the licenses are so easy to get that it doesn't really matter. A real estate agent, I mean, it's those licenses you got to study. It's 300 hours or whatever it is. You take the test, you get the license. But I guess back when, I'm pretty sure it was to keep people out. Because some dude somewhere was like, no one's ever going to take 300 hours worth of training. No one's ever going to do that.
They must be serious about this shit.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are following along with our home game, we are now transitioning to the topic of professional licenses. It was not the smoothest of segues, but I think we did a pretty good job. It's pretty good given two pretty far concepts here. We did. I think
That was a wide bridge. Yeah.
The Horace, professional licenses. What's your opinion on where you stand? I think I know where you stand, but
Honestly, I think state mandated professional licensing, regardless of anything else, is absolute bullshit. It's the government being involved in something they have no place in being involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel about commercial driver's licenses? You think someone should just hop in an 18-wheeler and take off?
I said state mandated. There is nothing. I have no issues with industries providing certifications, licensures, whatever, that people can voluntarily get. And in the case of like what you just described, if you want to get behind an 18-wheeler and you want insurance, you will go through and get that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same logic can kind of be applied to anything. If you want to go do it, you'll go take the test. It just sucks that it's the state, that's mandating that some dumbass somewhere that got elected or appointed is deciding what goes into these license tests. Which that's the part I hate.
And that's I would like to think that originally it was created for a level of consumer protection, especially in industries that had been abused. I'm in the insurance and investment industries, though those industries have been just decimated by people decades before me, and just completely scummy, unethical activity. So states came down and said, hey, look, you're going to have to get licensed for it. You're going to have to, do this many hours of training. Same way with investments. I had to pay $500 alone just to sit for the test for FINRA, which is the industry regulator, which works hand in hand with the SEC, just to be able for me to talk about mutual funds. And that's a lot of pre-work. Let me tell you, we're talking about weeks and weeks of training on top of a big check to go sit and take a test. However, what I don't get though is why states kind of pick and choose. And a perfect example is what you brought up a minute ago: real estate. You need to go and sit through 300 hours, whatever required number of hours for your real estate license. Pay the pay the $150 for the license in this state. I think it's all said and done it's about $150 to sit for the test and everything. And then you can go sell houses. You can go. So explain to me why you need a license to sell a $36,000 condo that appreciates in value, but you don't need a license in order to sell a $70,000 car that depreciates.
Right.
If this is truly for consumer protection and not barrier to entry of a market, then there should be a professional license for selling cars. And you want to talk about one of the biggest unethical
Scams.
scams in the world. It's car sales. It is the modern day insurance sales. Is pretty much what it is.
If you don't believe what Luke just said, ladies and gentlemen, go look at what the starting MSRP was on a 2003 Chevy Tahoe versus a 2013 Chevy Tahoe. In 10 years, it jumped up, about fucking 60 grand or whatever the fuck. It was fucking ridiculous. Fully loaded as fuck. It's ridiculous. Really, realistically, it jumped up like 55 grand. It went from like 20,000 brand new to like 75,000 or some shit. Fully loaded.
Yeah.
But you're right. I know why. There are some shady deals that happen in real estate. This person's probably going to have better credit, so the qualification is going to be shorter, so your client gets the money faster, so you're kind of judging based on that. You know that you're selling your client is a black family and they want to move into this neighborhood that's predominantly white, and you're like, I don't know about that, so I'm going to steer you away from that. So I know that there's some ethical reasons why that
Well, see, okay, that's called redlining, and that's a crime.
Right, that's a crime, absolutely. But you would have to have some sort of industry standard to say, hey, this is how we're going to train you. This is how it's going to happen. Kind of like CDLs. The whole industry comes together and says, look, this is what you need to do. If you want to sell houses, you got to learn this shit.
Yeah.
But to have some dude that just happened to be Robert Bentley's friend is over the housing and development for Alabama, so he comes up with the licenses for Alabama. That's just stupid, man. I don't know. I've never bought into the licenses. I've always been pissy about that.
But I can see, though, to an extent, when you're dealing with other people's money, if it's from the consumer protection aspect, where they're gonna watch all the transactions you make to make sure you're not screwing people over.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see the logic behind that. Do I agree with it? Maybe, maybe not. But when you start getting into things like cutting hair and braiding hair and doing nails, why? That's pretty much when you're dealing with those types of industries. You can say it's for public health reasons. That's not even really the case. It's just to prevent people. It's creating a barrier to put up these false obstacles in people's way to keep them from jumping into your industry and competing.
Yeah. Well, there are some really nasty, disgusting health reasons why you would definitely want someone to be trained before they give you a pedicure. But as far as a manicure goes, probably not. I mean, do you guys sanitize your fingernail clippers before you pass them to your wife? Of course not. Right. But with feet, there's definitely some dirty things that happen with because one time I was going to cosmetology school, so I've learned a lot about this shit. But
wait, whoa! You're serious, right?
I'm very serious.
Enlighten me. Hang on.
Yeah. So I went through at Central Florida College or College of Central Florida or some shit like that. Right when I got out of the Army, I went to cosmetology school. Sure did. Got almost all the way through, and the VA decided to quit paying for it for whatever reason. So I was like, okay. But then the school closed down, so maybe it had something to do with that school.
Could have been that. Could have been the fact that they felt that your intellect and ambition was being wasted, and they're like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I wanted to do at the time. But
have you ever thought about going back?
No, not once.
No, that's a hard no.
No, it was fun. I met a lot of cool people. I still know how to do all the shit I learned how to do, but it's not for me, man. But that's one of the things was like the fungus. There were these nail shops that just pop up on the regular that aren't licensed. They just pop up, says here, come get your nails done and shit. They use the same water and the same foot bath thing for every customer. So
Gross.
one customer may come in with athlete's foot or whatever, and that same water just gets circulated over and over. It's just
Yeah, but
disgusting. But that's go ahead.
well, that's not really licensing related. That's just being cheap and shitty. That hasn't,
Yeah.
whether they had a license or not, they're still going
Right,
to do
yeah.
that. And I'm sure they knew that they weren't supposed to do that, but they did it
Sure.
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I,
And
I, I, I totally understand. I'm just playing devil's advocate because there are some health concerns with doing nails.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
not with fingernails.
Yeah,
You know-
I know. I understand the health concerns. I totally get that. Horace, you gonna say something?
That is something that can be dealt with much better by a private group or private business who goes out and inspects and rates,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then sells their, it's like, well, do you want to know what, the top five cleanest businesses in this area are for doing this? Give us $5 and here's your list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
put,
There's
or put it out for free on a website and just make money off the advertising from the ads that pop up on it.
yeah.
so
Yeah. It's I don't agree with any of the licenses. I don't think I agree with any of them. I think that there's some compliance that you should probably meet with industry standards. Much like like if I owned a manufacturing company, I would like to be ISO 9000 compliant. I would like to be I'd like to have my plant manager be a Six Sigma black belt. There's some things that I would like to meet that are industry standards, as opposed to if I was a doctor, that I have to, not only do I have to go to fucking 8 years of med school and be a resident for 5 years or 10 years or whatever, but I also have to go pass a fucking test to say that I'm good enough to be a doctor in Alabama.
yeah.
What the fuck?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like Alabama's going to make the fucking difference after you spend 11 billion years in school.
And dollars, $11 billion and years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like Aaron. My wife recently graduated from nursing school. She goes to school for 2 years to learn how to be a nurse. Then she has to take a test to prove that she knows what the school says that she knows. And now she has to go through 8 weeks of training to learn what she already said that she knew and pass the test saying that she knew.
Yeah.
That makes God,
You know what I'm saying? So there's a stopgap there between graduating and going to work and training on the job training.
Yeah.
Because I know almost everything I've ever done that required a license. I've had a CDL, I've had a FINRA license, I've had insurance licenses, had a real estate license, all except I never sold real estate, so that would be a lie if I said all of them. But most of the ones that I actually went to do a job afterwards, I had to do on the job training to learn
Right.
how to do the job. So what's
Yeah.
like? I just don't understand what that license does for you. Like that fucking driver's license doesn't stop me from speeding. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. And from just like the insurance license perspective, honestly, the thing I got the most out of it was the mandatory training, because you learn a lot of the concepts of how insurance is and works through that. Especially because I had a lot of experience in the life insurance and health insurance. I didn't really have a lot in property and casualty, which is the home and the auto. So being forced to kind of jump in and learn that side of things, okay, yeah, but the test didn't really do anything for me.
Yeah.
Paying the state more money to be able to have a career and do a job didn't really do anything for me either. It's just it's a cool kids club that you pay into, and that you hope you get to keep the privilege of being able to work.
Now here's a question for you, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Since you've been involved in that for a while now, and you're also doing SEO and marketing in that realm as well.
Yeah.
How much more have you learned from that than the other?
From which one? From the SEO side of things?
Well, more specifically, doing all the marketing stuff you do.
I do a lot of the work inside the life insurance world. So I would say coming in, I probably knew about 75 to 80% of what I was touching. He does have some products that I've never even seen before. So yeah, I was forced very quickly to have to come up to speed on understanding how these products work.
Because I remember you commenting once when you were first getting into that side of things. It's like, damn, I'm learning all kinds of shit.
Yeah, because a lot of it had to do with a lot of it, and these for the people who probably just don't even give a shit. But I was learning a lot of the final expense aspect, the guaranteed issue. Like when you're watching daytime TV and Alex Trebek comes on and says, for only $20 a month, we're gonna get you $20,000 in life insurance, final expense burial, and you start doing the math and you start looking at it and you're just like, wow, this is a very bad product,
Yeah.
It's like, you're paying, you pay $7 a month for every $1,000 of coverage, but if you pay that for 10 years, you're ended up paying more for the $20,000 in coverage than you just kept the money in your pocket. You would have had that. But yeah, so that those are the aspects that I was like, oh my god, I had no idea that like this even was a thing or was as popular as it was, but apparently it is.
I want to point out to our listeners that Luke was just generalizing when he was throwing out numbers. He knows that those old people aren't going to live another 10,000 months. So it's just so you
no. I'm sorry. I may have kind of like thrown some words together. No, if you live for 10 years,
he's not an idiot.
If you live for 10 years, and you're paying this amount of money per month, you're going to end up paying more than in premiums than you are for the death benefit of $20,000.
Yeah.
If I said 10,000 months, I apologize. That's not what
it was just like the way it sounded was like when you said $20,000 and you said $20 a month, I was like, so that's another $1,000. That's 1,000 months. So these old people aren't living 1,000 months. Not gonna happen. Yeah. But that's
you
just
never
like,
know.
That's not even real insurance. Just to talk about you guys. I mean, it is insurance, but you're paying whatever that dollar is a month to accrue that dollar amount into someone else's checking account. That's basically what you're doing. You're paying this company to give you that money back when you die,
right?
That you can't spend. Yeah. I mean, if you want to do it for your grandkids,
I'm not saying that it's 100% bad because I don't want to gear off into this whole insurance philosophy concept, but. If it's a guaranteed issue policy, they're always going to be more expensive. If you realistically think you only have about 5 years left, 3 years left, 2 years left, they're expensive, but you can get a policy like that. Have your funeral expenses covered. Takes more burden off your family. Great, that's fine. If you're 35 years old and you get one of these policies, why? Fucking no. You're just making a really stupid choice at this point. You have a shitty ass agent. You need to come talk to me.
That's right.
But anyway.
So I was going to go somewhere after. Yes, licenses. Obviously, licenses suck. What also suck is when a state subscribes to some third-party entity. They require that specific entity to bless off on your education before you can be a member of that society.
So we're talking about the American Bar Association.
We are. We're talking about the American Bar Association. Because there are countless times that I've been like, you know what, I'm going to law school. I'm going to finish my bachelor's degree, and I'm going to law school at Birmingham School of Law. Which have a terrible fucking passing rate on the bar in Alabama as compared to other schools. So, yes, it's probably subpar education, but it's $3,000 a year. It's not $30,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I go down there and I bust my ass for a couple of years and I go past the bar, I get to practice law in Alabama, and that's it, because we don't subscribe to the ABA. But every other fucking state in the union does, except for like California and Vermont or something like that.
Vermont, yes. Vermont's the only state that I know of that you can actually read for the law. You don't even have to go to law school. You just have to intern. You have to work for a law office for X amount of time, and then you can go and take the bar.
I think California's the same way, or it
California
used to be.
lets online schools. I mean, come on now. The online schools in this space. So, I mean, if you really don't want to go to law school and you just want to do it online, California is the only state you're going to be able to practice in, just so you know.
Yeah, but I think that's silly. That's another one of those things. Like if you go to an ABA school and you spend $100,000 on your 3-year education or whatever, and you come back and you're still a rookie lawyer, you have the same exact experience that I do as I come out as a rookie lawyer at Birmingham School of Law, and I will argue you to the fucking death, and I'll win.
Yeah. Yep.
There's the challenge, motherfucker. Go to law school, and I'll go to bullshit law school, and we'll see who's better. But regardless, that's silly. And what are some of the other ones that are silly are what you have to do to be a journeyman. Like what the shit you have to know to be a master or a journeyman electrician, plumber, and HVAC technician. Yeah, that's another silly thing. Like you can't. I forgot which one it is. I don't know if it's journeyman or whatever, but you have to have 3,000 proven hours underneath a master of their craft before you can go sit for this test.
Oh yeah.
So what the fuck does me having to work for someone for $12 to $18 an hour before I can go start making my own $45 an hour? The only way that happens is some fucking plumber somewhere got elected to office, or he's in somebody's back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean that may be the case, but that is one of the few holdovers from the old apprentice system.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That predates so much of the way we do things now. To where you worked years under a master as an apprentice before he said, yes, you're good enough to,
I totally get that.
So.
Totally get that. But they also have 2-year degrees where you spend 8 hours a day or 4 hours a day or whatever locked into learning rather than having to get wrenches thrown at you and running out to the truck to grab lunch and being the bitch boy for a couple of years. I mean,
yeah.
Once upon a time, like a blacksmith, I mean, yeah, you gotta pay attention to that type of shit. Plumbing, I mean, fucking shit rolls downhill. Paydays on Thursday. Like, what else do you need to know?
Yeah.
I just think it's a little silly. I think it's silly that you have to have an HVAC license to open an HVAC business, only because of the Freon,
Mm-hmm.
because some dumbasses like to huff Freon. So now you got to have a license.
More power to them. I mean, that ties back to the whole Tide Pod thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If that's what you want to do, if you want to blow yourself up, that's awesome. You know what? That's more oxygen for me down the line, and that's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, but it's silly. I can't get enough of that type of shit. That's just so goofy.
I think we all agree that licenses are bullshit, and I don't know if you've read the article, Luke. I think Halston did that I posted in one of our chats, where was it the New York Times?
Yeah, it was either New York Times or USA Today.
USA Today, I believe it was. Not exactly the most conservative of news organizations either.
Mm.
Nope.
Was actually pushing for Congress to step in and limit states' abilities to enact licensing laws. And I have to give them credit, their rationale for it was a new one for me. Because normally it's like, okay, if Congress is going to step in and step on the states, 9 times out of 10, Commerce Clause.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the go-to. Didn't go there this time. 14th Amendment.
Oh, I heard about that popping up.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting take on it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like, that earning a living is a civil right.
Yeah.
And the 14th Amendment is designed to allow the federal government to prevent states from overriding civil rights.
All right, so here we go. All right, so here's the thing. There's been talk about the federal government coming out and having the states suspend or states suspending the professional licenses of people who are, shall we say, behind on their student loans. And would the 14th Amendment also apply in that case to be challenged?
I would say yes.
Yeah, I mean,
but
what is the difference between? I mean, I guess there is a huge difference. So don't answer this question; it's rhetorical and stupid.
I'll probably still answer it though.
Yeah.
What's the difference between debtor's prison and you losing everything you've worked for? Like,
right.
what's the difference? So, I mean, obviously you can go get another job, right? There's the answer. But yeah, that's silly. That's another one of those. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Well, it's like them also with driver's licenses. Like if you don't pay child support, they're going to take your driver's license. Oh, that's great. So now I can't work, so you're gonna get even less money from me.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just using that as an example, but I've been fighting with the Alabama Department of Industrial Relations, which is our Department of Labor, over some sort of. They said that I made more money. It's just we're bickering about a dollar figure, and they've come out and said we're going to start taking this and this. And I'm just like, look, just show me the proof that that I actually cashed the check. That's all I need. Just give me a copy of a canceled check. I don't recall this ever happening, so I'm not going to pay you guys back until I see an actual documented proof. But in situations like that, they could easily come back and say, hey, we're going to take your driver's license. Well, great. So now I'm going to go back to you guys to get fucking welfare, to be able to or unemployment, because now you've made me unemployed. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's just this whole idea of licensing to be able to do something that you should be freely able to do regardless makes no sense, because where does it stop? There is no ceiling to it. You can get licenses. You can create a license for someone to have if they have more than 3 licenses, they have to get another license to be able to say they can have these 3 licenses. There's no stopping the insanity at this point.
Well, there's really not. It's there's a never-ending circle of license. That's really all it is. There's this never-ending circle of you have to come back to us. Let's figure this out. Just come on back to us. Because they'll take your license, and then you have to come back to us and pay more money to get that license back. But if you don't do it, we're going to take this other license, so then you have to pay more money to get that back. It's just silly.
I mean, are they going to start taking? Are they going to start? I want to see them start taking marriage licenses. I want to see that happen. Like, you know what? You don't pay your taxes. We're taking away your marriage license. Let's see how that works.
As far as talking about, where does it end? It's not technically a license, but it has the same effect in that it is a barrier to entry. In that one of the things that's currently went through Congress, I think it's only went through the House so far, basically would enact new rules that would bar anyone from even seeking employment, putting in an application, unless they have a nationally issued biometric ID.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough sell, especially with the hardcore right crowd.
Get the fuck on out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm telling you right now. Not me. I'll go fucking sell hot dogs downtown. I don't give a fuck. Doesn't matter
start slinging that dope.
Yeah,
Trailer Park Boys for real up in here, let me tell you.
Fuck yeah. I'll start drag racing. I'll go back to stripping. You can be my manager. How about that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of barriers to entry. And much like this shit that this solar tariff that's going on with that Trump just approved. That's another type of barrier to entry that states and governments love to throw out there. Oh, you guys are all switching because you've heard for the last 8 years that coal sucks, so you're switching into solar. Oh, guess what? No fucking jobs, because we don't give a fuck about that. Come on back to coal or whatever.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of barriers to entry they're pseudo barriers. They're just fucking fake because they're created by some entity that shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
It's something designed to protect one group from another group.
Yeah.
It's everything. If the government touches it, statistically speaking, odds are that it comes down to they're creating an us versus them. United we stand, divided we fall.
That's right.
They want to make sure we fall.
Yeah.
I would even go as far as saying that, personally, I'd like to be able to pick who my health care provider is, not the state.
Yeah.
I don't think the state should determine who is good enough to quote unquote practice medicine, because, our health care is our own choice. The state has no purview in that choice.
Right.
If I want to be treated by a Chinese medicine man, that's my choice. I don't need him to have a license with the state. if I
Yep.
want to go, if I want to, go see him to treat me. Will I get the best treatment possible? I don't know. I mean, the Chinese have lived for thousands of years, and they seem to be doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's
how
that's
about
my
just like
choice.
when Indians come over, right? The Indians from India, they come over and they've been pharmacists for the last fucking 30 years, but then they have to go study pharmacy for a medical test in the United States. The fucking medicines names don't change. A
Nope.
gazillion years ago, they decided to stick to the Latin. That's why everybody knows what
That's
it's.
true. Yeah.
It's ibuprofen. That's what it is everywhere. It's not L-ibuprofen in Mexico. It's not La
L.
ibuprofen in France.
No.
It's just ibuprofen. So it's more, and it never changes. It doesn't matter how much shit you know. You're always going to have to jump through these hoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are industry standards for that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
For example, I think for chemicals, it's what is it, IUPC?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I was talking to Katie the other day about chemical names and the IUPC standards and everything, and that I love to see memes about oxidane. Very dangerous chemical.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen one.
Extreme solvent, causes all kinds of corrosion and everything. Chemical formula, H2O.
I was gonna say, isn't that
Yeah.
water? I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a second. I am by no means like the chemist of the crowd, but I'm just like, I think I've heard that before. I think somewhere I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, chemical name oxidane.
So here's the thing, on the whole professional licenses aspect, is we even have people come into the United States to seek better opportunity. That's not a surprise, and the majority of them are coming through legal means. However, their education and their experience seems to be forced to be left behind when they come here. And when I was in the Army, I was an enlisted medic, so I was an infantry medic, and there was a guy who had carried the same rank as me from Kenya. He was actually, I believe he was a hematologist in Kenya. But because of his education and experience didn't transfer over, when he immigrated to the States, he had to start all over again. And he figured the best way to get fast-tracked into citizenship is to join the Army. So he joined the Army as a medic. This fucker knew more shit than our doctors did because he had spent so many years studying this. And it was to hear him talk. Yes, he had a thick accent, no doubt about it. But great guy, knew his shit inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
But here's even better. So he's pissed off that he has to be pretty much stuck with the grunts of the medical field, which are the glorified ass wipers that we were. But then while he's enlisted, the military fails to renew his immigration paperwork. And because he comes from a certain part of Kenya, he's immediately put on a terrorist watch list.
Oh, good.
So
What the
all of a
fuck?
sudden CID gets involved. And comes knocking at the door wanting to know why he's on a terrorist watch list. Moral of the story is that had he just been able to bring his experience and just say, hey, look, I've already studied all this, just let me test. Take the test, you're good to go. Just let him have it. That's that's a huge hurdle when it comes to these professional licenses, is that it's arbitrary. It does not necessarily say that you know what your industry is. You know how to pass a fucking test. That's it.
Yeah.
And again, all that kind of stuff can be handled just as easily by private organizations.
Right.
Rather than setting the bar and having a law license, the bar basically can act as an agency that will go, yes, this person has proven that they actually do know Alabama law.
Just a certification. Just a certification. It's a pretty little picture with a stamp on it, just like it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
So I guess we're all in agreement on that. I see the conversation starting to fade out a little bit. So
Yeah. But
All right.
yeah, That's
Yeah.
it. Certifications. Yeah.
Certifications instead of licenses. I think we can pretty much sum that up. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. One more thing. Right.
Okay.
My friend, we have a friend who cuts hair, and she's very successful. She's probably at the top, one of the top salons in our area. She makes a lot of money. She's moving to Atlanta. She can't transfer her license to Atlanta because of whatever reason, but she can transfer her license to Tennessee, and
Probably
Tennessee
okay.
can transfer it to Georgia.
So
she's gonna
reciprocity.
She's moving to Tennessee so that she can get a license there, so that she can move to Alabama because so she can move to Georgia because of reciprocity, because of fucking good old boys doing, oh yeah, we'll take that one, but not that one.
Yeah.
Works the same way in insurance too. It's it's if you want to get a license in Georgia, they have some sort of agreement. It's exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say something with that whole in that whole conversation too about haircutting, moving to Georgia. God, I can't remember.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, I'll remember it tonight and I'll text you guys. It'll be funny. I'm sure it will be. Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Cool.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else on this topic?
Not that I can think of. I mean, this is kind of like Manning. Honestly, this has been kind of a slow week.
It has. We are. Yeah. I'm sorry if it wasn't as exciting and as engaging.
There was a school shooting.
There was a school shooting, but I mean, this is America, so it happens all the time. So.
Yeah.
Well, there was a 19-year-old Muslim student. Muslims are relevant. It just sparks the interest and makes me seem racist or whatever. But there's a Muslim student in Minnesota that tried to light her campus on fire, or her former campus, because of something, because we destroy Arabic schools.
He was
or something
pissed
like
that the Vikings lost. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
This was Friday, so it was before the Vikings lost.
She was pissed that they were going to lose.
That's it.
She was like, fuck the Vikings.
Well, I just wish. I'm just really glad that she was just a fucking moron. She was like, "You better be." She told the cops, "You should be glad I don't know how to make a bomb." Like,
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, that throws her into the terrorist station wagon anyway. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, she tried to burn this place down, and she lit all the fucking fires in metal trash cans. Like no accelerant or anything, just light a piece of paper and throw it in a trash can, walk away.
Oh,
congratulations, you're going to jail for the rest of your fucking life.
Now you're a terrorist because you can't even start a fucking fire, right?
Yeah, you couldn't even roasted a goddamn marshmallow on it.
Well, and technically, if she's being charged as a terrorist under current law, she doesn't even have to go to trial. She goes off somewhere, and that's it.
She's going to Gitmo. She's off. She's gone.
I don't know about Gitmo, but
No, she's going to Gitmo.
Especially,
I got a feeling she's going to Gitmo.
It could be.
I hope
they
not.
need some ladies in Gitmo. She's
Yes, they do.
Especially with the what is it, 702 FISA, and all the stuff that was added to the NDAA. This last go around, that all this stuff about indefinite detention and everything, it's more strict than ever.
Didn't Rand Paul end up agreeing to the NDAA this go around?
When hasn't he?
Thank you for all the three libertarians that watch the show who think Rand Paul's some sort of messiah. No, he's not. I assure you, he's not a messiah of anything.
No, I mean it's just.
I think we're scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point.
I think we're reaching pretty far. I think
we are. I mean, because I'm going through Google News, just being like, oh my God, Toys R Us is closing 182 stores. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon, baby. It is what it is. AT&T wants Congress to draft a net neutrality law. Here's what. Okay. Whatever. There's shit going on in the news. It's all regurgitated stuff that we've already either talked about or got tired of seeing in the past. So, of course, last words. Go.
Speaking of net neutrality, several states have stepped up and have found a way to, in effect, enact their own version of it. And I don't know if Alabama is.
Okay.
I think Montana is one of the first ones.
So it's the Alabama of the North. Okay, great. Go ahead.
They're doing it in a smart way. They're not actually enacting any actual regulations per se. There's nothing mandating ISPs do anything.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you want to get a single government contract, you have to follow these rules.
Yeah, that's not bad. If you want to get the government money, you gotta do this. Okay, I can see that.
And
I would like to say that just having a little bit of knowledge in the business, that the government is really good at giving you the opportunity to win a contract. They will lay it out as, if you do these things, you will win a contract as long as you are the lowest bidder or whatever. Just so you know.
Unless you're Equifax, where there's a no bid contract process with the IRS.
Yeah,
I guess so. But I'm sure there's some paperwork somewhere that says if you do this, you can bid, and if you're the lowest, you will win.
If that, then this.
no,
It's in Chelsea Mannings' department.
Yeah. No, I thought their approach to it was rather ingenious.
Yeah, it's thinking outside the box.
Yeah. I appreciate thinking outside of the box. I mean, again, and because there's no regulations mandating that they have to do this, I don't see where there's any grounds for complaint, legal complaint. It's a question of, do these companies want to compete for state contracts or not?
Right.
No,
if they do, then
Alabama's proposed net neutrality laws said you can't slow down the internet unless someone is watching porn or trying to smoke pot online. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Man, sounds about right.
We're fucked.
I'm sure there's some sort of caveat where streaming Alabama games must take higher priority than anything else ever.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Of course.
Those
are important.
It's called the RTR amendment.
Roll Tide roll.
Oh, yeah, we are screaming.
Hey,
no doubt about that.
We have to be able to see Bama win yet another national championship.
It's like the Pats. It's getting to that point where it's just like, oh, the Pats in the Super Bowl again. Surprise, surprise. But
Brady's going soon, man. He can't live forever.
I think he might. I think with as much money as the Pats organization has, they're going to find a way to make that guy bionic. He's going to be a cyborg.
Like
He's going to be in 10 years. He'll be fully just full cyborg bionic man. But God, so yeah. Anyway, Paulson, last words. What do you got?
Man, fuck licenses.
Fuck licenses.
Yep.
I guess, man. That's all I got. That's not very good. I'm sorry, listeners. This is just kind of an off week.
Yep. Computer problems and just a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right, so we're gonna close this bad boy out. We're just gonna put a nail in it and just bury this show just somewhere deep in the interwebs. But anyways, you've been listening to Uncivil Liberty.
Yes.
Thank you so much for investing your time in this. I apologize if you didn't get the value that you're looking for, but them's the breaks, That's just kind of how it works. All right, so check out our website, uncivilliberty.com, our Facebook page, Uncivil Liberty Show. You can always, Twitter us if you wanted to.
Yeah, you can Twitter us, but don't fucking Twitter us something stupid. I'm gonna rip you to shreds. Especially on a Wednesday. Wednesday mornings, I'm ripping you to shreds.
We're still looking for the Jeff Sessions nudie pics.
Yeah, never gonna.
They are.
And
let's be clear.
We're also looking for the Chelsea Manning ones now too. So we'll start putting a list together.
Horace at Uncivil Liberty, and he'll get
Horace at uncivilliberty.com. And hang on a second, I'll get his phone number. You can text it to him.
And at which point, I will whip you a new asshole.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And you guys have a good night. We're out of here.
Good night, all.
Bye.
Goodbye.